Hello, hello, hello. Amber, nice to see you. Hello. Oh, my background looks so bare without the plants. They're getting a dose of sunshine outside. And the dead ones, I'm hoping they come back to life. Nice to see you, Amber. That's such a nice surprise. Am I even on? Am I online? Can everyone hear me? I'm getting so nervous now. What's Maybel doing? Maybel, she's got her snack. She was very impatient for this one. I had to give it to her before we even started. So, oh, perfect. Hi. Maybel says hi too. I want to ask how work's going. How are you doing, girl? How are the kids? It's super nice to see you. Yeah, we're rigging a mouth chart today. A big one. Probably the most complicated mouth chart I've ever rigged for funsies. It isn't going. Kids are good. Let's do it. Okay. Nice to have you here. Brett will be here in a minute. It's his design. It's his. He's looking to get into the animation industry. So this has been me working with him for a couple hours a week for the last. I think this is probably the 8th week, 7th week. I'm not sure. Hey, Brett. I took a 2 week off. I took 2 weeks off this week to last week. The last 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, how many weeks are there? Weeks. I took 2 weeks off so that I could go to Toronto, the Taffy, and you know who was there? Was it who reached out to me? I can't remember now if it was Kathy or if it was Sabrina. But either Kathy or Sabrina, I didn't run into them. We must have crossed. And they saw me from the crowd, so I got a message it was Sabrina. I got a message on my LinkedIn saying, "Hey, was that you?" So that was pretty cool. But we didn't actually get to say hi because I didn't see her. It was just one of those days. But yeah, I went to Taffy and then I flew out to Vancouver and did a whole bunch of work meetings over there to try to get some conversations started. And it was pretty incredible, can't lie, really miss Vancouver. And then I spent a couple days on the island at my sister's house, which was super nice, very relaxing, very peaceful. She lives in a very nice part of the world, can't lie. And Maybel had a ball, literally, at the dog kennel. She was kennelled for the full 2 weeks. It was the longest time I've ever kennelled her. She's pretty new to kenneling as of like the last 2 years, so during the pandemic. But she quite likes it. It's super nice to get the photos from her trip too. So yeah, we're back today, day 1. But we're finishing up. We're almost done, I think. I've imported the new mouth chart. Brett was working on this while I was away, so now it's done. It looks fantastic. It's very beautiful, Brett. You did a great job. She did have a vacation. Yeah, she chased a lot of balls and hung out with a lot of dogs, and did a lot of sun naps. Let's say. Now she's going to town on her little snuffle mat. I didn't make her a cabbage because we're back from how it is when you get back from vacation. Still kind of all over the place, but we're getting it back into shape. Yeah, so cool. Feel free to make any recommendations, Amber, while we're going at this. Or Brett, if you have any questions, we're going to dive into this. I've already got it ready and loaded. Let me switch over to the other screen. Yeah, Amber, if you've got any recommendations or suggestions, feel free to give him a shout out for Brett. He is learning. My screen is not full size. I'll change that. But yeah, I've already imported the design by clicking browse. It's already connected here. But I wanted to go over my layers one more time, just in case for anybody following along now or in the future. And Amber, just so you know, all this stuff's available later on for download on my Gumroad. So if you ever want to try to rig along, you're more than welcome to. But you might want to spend your free time doing other things besides what feels like work. But yeah, so we're going to leave this as a create a single layer named I think this one is a skeleton in a cardigan. This one might give us a problem because I can see that we don't have underscores here. So I'm going to leave it for now, and if we get the error, we'll come back and rename the file. But at least you'll see what that error looks like. And then we're going to import it as a bitmap drawing. And we're going to keep the rules and alignment, actual size and alpha as straight. And just hit OK. Let's see if it brings it in. If we get that error, might have to do this all over again. Let's see. And then we can bring up the actual mouth chart as it is. You good, girl? Yeah, you're good. I got another treat for her ready to go if she gets antsy, which she will. She will. All right, let's get this mouth chart going. Looks like it's going extra slow today. Brett, I've been really curious as to what this character is going to say. Since he's got such a fancy mouse comp, you're going to need to give him a line. What is he going to say? All right, let's see. We've got it imported here. It seems like we didn't have any problems with the spacing. Sometimes when there's spaces or special characters in the design, the naming of the design PNG, you just get an error, which stops you and prevents you from importing it, but we didn't have that problem today. We're going to replace the old mouse with the new mouse, and we're going to just start over. Well, we're going to start over, but like going and tweaking the mouse that were already started. But here we've got the whole thing ready to go. It's totally fine that it's a big image. In fact, that gives you like a really clear image sometimes. So it's kind of better to be bigger and to shrink it down than to be too small and then have to scale it up, because that's when you lose a lot of your resolution. So let's put Skelly over here. I left myself a note because I knew that in 2 weeks I would forget where I was, and ta-da, I did. So we're on frame 12, the bottom jaw to be finished, and check with Brett to see if about the final designs. So we've got the final designs; they have been checked. Now we just have to replace our images. These ones are going to be considered the old ones, but we still kind of need them for a quick second. I'm going to put this actual skeleton design over here. Let's see. Yes, here we've got the actual skeleton design. So I'll leave that, and then the mouse. This is the old one. Activate. Activate, there it is. And I'm gonna actually write old mouths into here. And I will do that because if anyone's following along, because we started these mouths a while ago, the previous mouths were, available. So if you are starting from then, you might want to have those in the scene, which I will leave in the scene, like when it's available for download. But if you're starting from now and feel free to bypass that step. You don't have to, and Amber can attest to this, we get designs at all stages of a build file, so we're constantly updating things. So at this case, we're just going to kind of replace the old mouse, but we're going to leave them in the scene in case they're necessary to kind of have to go back to, or for reference for somebody else at a later time. But if you're just starting this rig at a later date, let's say in like 3 months when I'm totally done this rig, then you can kind of bypass the old mouths. You can use this new drawing. You follow the same steps, and then that way you don't have to redo the old work. So right now I'm going to redo some of the old work, which is fine. It's common. We do this all the time. Tiny tweaks all the time. Hey, Bass Birdie, welcome. Hey, Bass Birdie. And you got to meet Amber, and I know you've already met Brett, but Bass Birdie's been with me for a while, Amber. She's been joining here. And then Amber used to work with me at Atomic Cartoons. So, small worlds. The worlds are always getting smaller. You need something? You are jived. Look at this. Can you see this? You can't see this. Can you see this? Look at this. Can you see that tail wiggle? Come on. She knows there's more treats. She knows there's more treats. Okay. We'll go back to work. Maybel, I don't want to give you that right now, since you just finished the other one. Can you lay down? Can you lay down? I don't have a treat for you. Go lay down. Yeah. Okay, good girl. Stay. Oh. And I forgot to put the lid on the treat jar so she can smell them. Yeah. Small worlds, meeting everybody. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So let's bring in these new mouths, and let's replace the old ones. So let's see. I'm gonna move this over just a little bit more and create a little more space. Bring this here. I'm gonna attach it to the mouths. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use this mouth peg, but we're gonna see. Because it definitely scales it. I'm going to put this up here. And I'm going to put it... How do we want to do this? Okay, so let's... Alright, so we've got different organizational patterns here, but let's try to figure it out. This is this. What do we got? We got all the letters. We got E, F, V, T, H, B, M, P. Okay, so we got all the letters. Where's E? We got all the letters E, V. I'm already tongue-tied. Okay, so we got this one, and then we go to this one, and then we go to this one, and then we go to this one. Okay, so how am I going to do this? All of my mouths, I know that this one right here is, we've started to tween to get into, let me zoom in on that for a second. So I've got one mouth shape here, which I think this is the default. Okay, so this is the default. Then we got this one. Then we go to this one. Then we go to this one. Okay. So that's all I have? Perfect. That's all I have. Which mouths are these? Skeleton in the cardigan. Hang on. This is mental math for me. 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take the mouths that we already have that are out of order from the new design and put them in order to the new design. Okay, so the first one is this one. And it's this one, which is E, which is 1. This is the normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E is 8. And E is this one. Alright, so we got 10, which means E is 18. So we're going to put that here. Wait, I don't want to do the whole thing. I want to just do the jaw. Okay, top jawbone, bottom jawbone. Do I have a... do I have a peg that grabs both of them? I do not. Okay, we got bottom jaw and the top jaw. Amber, do I need a jaw master peg, or is the jaw just attached to the skull? I need advice. Standard would be the word standard for the mouth shapes, and the grouping of the letters is a subjective, I think. What we did was we went online and I was just showing a bunch of examples and giving Brett the freedom to kind of create the mouth shapes that he wanted. He's really into old time traditional cartoons where everything is like super squash and stretchy. So we're trying to hybrid a cutout character that gives that flexibility, but also kind of follows the rules, but also kind of breaks the rules. So we have some like compromises. So we're going to see what those look like today, to be honest. Not quite sure yet. But the teeth are definitely, so it looks like the teeth are moving too. So it's up to, no, the teeth are moving. Like the teeth are alive. The character is very flexible. So the teeth are, each one is an individual tooth, and I basically made 4 different teeth and then used static transformations to like duplicate a couple of them. So there's only about 4 teeth that we built. They each have their own deformer, so they're very like malleable. But do I need a peg to do both of these? What it would do is it would help me right now just in this moment. So I'm gonna add this peg. I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm also probably gonna delete it. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So I'm gonna Control Shift. Oops, it got saved. This one to delete. Change this to red. To be deleted, but I'm going to use this peg to help me organize my teeth right now. So now I've got this peg here that shows me where my teeth are, but I'm not affecting the rest of my rig, which is kind of what I want. So I want the mouth. And the other thing that I'm going to do actually is I'm going to color code this so I can see it. And we're going to go red. Red to be deleted. All right. So now I've got this red line in my timeline here, and that just highlights the line, so I know which line I'm working on. If I open this peg, you're going to see the top and the bottom jaw individually, but I want to work on them together right now. So just a little bit of a shortcut. You can also change the color. Can you change the color from here? Yeah, if you double click here, you can change the color of this line. I'm going to stick to, I'll stick it to green. It also changes the color of the jaw bones, which I don't really want, but it's okay for now. That's only because I had it collapsed. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so this frame here is going to be 18. So I'm going to move these two to 18. I'm not going to worry too much about, I'm going to need more space, that's for sure. And then the last one here, what is this one? Oh, where is it? It's locked. Okay. This mouth here is it F? FV? FV is 3. Okay, so we're going to take this one and we're going to bring it back here. All right. And now I think that is, we're in a better spot, but I'm gonna, we're gonna move some stuff around still. Hang on, I'm still cleaning this up. Like I said, this is a brain I'm in a brain fog right now. All right, so we got the C is the fourth keyframe. Come on. Lock this. Okay, I'm gonna find that. I'm going to also probably switch my camera view over here. Okay, I got selection. Okay, so this one is going to be, I'm going to start all these mouth shapes. I'm going to reorganize them, but they're going to start, so this is the fourth drawing. So this is going to be on frame 14. This one is going to be on frame 13. And I'm going to remove all the tweens, and I'm going to put these back. Okay, so remove the tweens, and this one is the first frame. Okay, I'm going to hide this one now, and now we're going to move this one, and I'm going to push it back in Z space. Okay, so I think it's closer to the right shape, but I'm not sure yet. But all right, so this is the normal one, so we're gonna align it here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how solid these bones are either. Been thinking of them like Jello. Okay, we got the one. Now we're gonna move on to the B. Let's see, this one. This one, I'm gonna have it do the size and the scale and the position for the mouth, but this one here is the one that actually controls where all the mouths are for the old one. Does it matter that we have it? Yeah, it does a little bit. So let's just start from here. The second frame is this one. A little line to the best of our ability. All right, so that's that one. Then we should be at our F mouth, which looks like that's lined up now. Oh, we got a bit of a size and a scale discrepancy here. So I'm just going to center the character on there. Oh, wait, heck, 1 second. That scale discrepancy is not from the let's just compare it to the one before, 79. So let's keep this at 79. Whoops. Control V. Come on, 79.79. All right, so the scale discrepancy was because the last image, it was a little bit too small, and I think I had to rescale it. So these ones, it looks like they're all pretty accurate. So we don't have, you shouldn't have to rescale it. So we're gonna undo that scale. And put that back. And align the tip of the hat to the jaw. There we go. And Brett, you can see like when you, now that I have the skull and the hat and the jaw aligned, it's much faster for me to actually go in and like align the rig to the design instead of just trying to match up the jaw and like figure out what point it was anchoring in. So that's why designers give us more information than less information, because it makes our job a little bit easier. And that's something that you always want to consider when you're working in a pipeline. It's like, you want to make everybody's job less frustrating, and I'm sure Amber can tell you all about that. I think it would be pretty trippy if the jaw was moving up and down in animation in a not great way, but rules are meant to be broken. I don't know. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Well, we're playing with those rules for sure. We had that conversation a couple weeks ago, and just trying to you want to limit like tangents. That's what we call it, tangents. When there's so many things in the face, because you have so many details in like a small area. So you want to limit how much noise is kind of happening, but at the same time you want to find that flexibility and the freedom, because your focus is to bring a specific aspect of the character to life. So that's what we're playing with today. Is there a good way to erase the surrounding white background area on the original drawing we brought in, or would I have to import a drawing that has a transparent background? And so the transparent background would automatically omit the white background. But I actually don't mind the white background because it helps me kind of, I guess I'm used to it. I'm actually probably just used to it. I think that transparent background works as well. It's when there's a darker background that's what's hard to trace, and you can't easily key it out. I normally put a link below and a link above the work you are working on, but about 50% opacity and locking the layer so you aren't accidentally grabbing it. Yeah, and I think that's basically how I guess I'm showing you how I work. But I like the transparency nodes. Specifically because you can turn them on and off instantly just by deactivating, activating. You can also go in and change the opacity in a drawing node individually, but I don't like this. I think it's under advanced. I'm not a big fan of this one. Is it advanced? Yeah, opacity. So right here, you can actually set the whole drawing layer to be opaque or transparent. Right there. But again, then you can't turn it off. You have to go in and out of that drawing node, and to me that's too much work. It's too much work that feels like work. All right, so we got this one. So now we're going to the next phase, and we're going to keep this all at 0.79. So why does this look big? Oh, wait a second. Did I? 179, 179, 174, 174. Oops. This is 174. I'm not touching this one. Okay. All right, now we get the TH, and we are on our way. I think that the first one that you brought in, the one with two faces, was it was a PNG with a transparent background. Brett, I think. Hang on. What do you need? What do you need? I don't have any. No, that's it. You're a stinker. No, none of this. What is this? Where's the whistle? Oh my gosh, this always takes the longest. Ugh. Okay, and now this one is the E, so this is actually going to be here. And we're going to line up that E. But how come the... Okay. Okay, and one left. Okay. Ooh. All right, done. Concentration power. That was it. That was the thinking phase. All right, so this is my favorite part of rigging a mouth is when you have all the images. When you have all the images, activate, deactivate, lined up, and then you can actually flip through. And if you're just keeping your eye on the center one, this is my favorite little, and actually, well, oh, my phone's not here. I'll grab a little video of that for the Insta because that looks super cool, Brett. For your first mouth comp, this is super ambitious, and you did a really good job. It's wild. It's very trippy, but it's pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. There's no white there's a white background. I believe you were able to remove it. I haven't, what did I do? Let me see, activate, deactivate. I'm gonna unplug this one. Bring the skeleton here. How did I bring this in without, I would have just, when you import your images, you can play with these two. I have alpha, this is the straight, but try the pre-multiplied, but pre-multiplied I don't think removes the the white background. I think that it just, I think it typically just, maybe I'm wrong, but when you pre-multiply something, it blends, so it doesn't really remove it. But just try these two options, and that might be able to give you. It won't affect the size or anything. It'll just affect the way that it's imported. So if you wanted to import it again, if you're importing the same drawing, you can import it the 2 other times to see what the differences will be, and then you can just replace the drawing node with the new drawing node, and then everything peg wise should be totally fine. So you don't have to worry about you won't have to worry about like messing up any of the imports, and they can kind of keep working instantaneously, which is kind of nice. That's what's nice about working with designs, because they're usually always set to be the same resolution. So when somebody gives us a new design, as long as they haven't changed the scale in the design itself, then we can pretty much just import the drawing and then hook it up to the peg, and then it's in the place, and then we can make the changes that we need to, instead of kind of going through and doing what I'm doing now, where I'm resetting the mouth comp. It's a bit difficult to do that for one-offs. You need to have like 100 to kind of go through the pipeline, and you get that flow. But when you're just doing one-offs, there's going to be a lot of editing and tweaking and things like that. So, but for working in a pipeline, in the actual design department, those things are usually coming in, and they've got their own standards that they're set to. So it makes our job a little bit easier. But yeah, if you do it for yourself, you should still be able to pop that in. Try them pre-multiplied with white first before the black, and that might remove your background. Yep, and you should be able to do that. You should still be able to do that with the white background if you are struggling. Like I wasn't using this one. I was using this one, and it does have the white background. So what I did to kind of navigate that was I just kind of made sure that the one that I was working on was on top or behind the old mouth chart. So depending on, and this kind of comes with practice and experience on how to navigate this one. But when you select your object, you're automatically not going to see the transparency. This is why people like to use the information inside the drawing node, because if I was to change this is why people do it. I'll show you. So when they grab it, it's automatically transparent, and they can see like what it is that's happening. It's just that if you want to undo that transparency for whatever reason, you have to jump back into the drawing and undo it. So that's the one way. That is the reason why people adjust the opacity there. Let me... Alright, so I'm going to go back to 100. And then the other way, and this is the way that I've learned, did it just not do it? There we go. Is I literally just I just changed what is being, like, the order of whatever is transparent. So if I'm grabbing this one, it means that I'm going to have it behind the thing that I want to see. But when it runs through the transparency, everything is technically transparent. But because I'm not grabbing the mouth chart old, it is transparent behind it. If I grab this one, then it's the reverse. You can see, but I don't have a peg there. But when I push this back, it just means that now I can't see it. So that's kind of how I navigate that, and that just takes a little bit of practice and a couple run-throughs of this skill. But neither one is difficult, as you can see, and they both work. So you can kind of choose and decide which one you want to go with. I'm not going to use the old mouths now, so we can deactivate those. Put them aside. I might even just unplug them and put them all the way to the side. I don't know what the sketches layer is for anymore, but now we've got Skelly. And why does Skelly look so small? Okay, let's see. So Skelly's... There we go. All right. So The other thing that I can do is, instead of pushing this backwards, I can push it forwards so that I can see the whole thing. And the only thing is that the problem is going to be, let me reset this deformer. Can I reset this deformer? Okay, so this jaw changed a little bit, it looks like. But what I'm gonna do, just double check, yeah. Oh, no, it was just animated somehow. Okay. There we go. Alright, so now we go to our second jaw. And now we're gonna do this. Alright, so this is where we start to get, I'm not gonna say complicated, I'm gonna erase these notes because they don't matter anymore. I'm gonna kind of run through the whole jaw. Kind of have to reorient myself for the character, actually. All right, so we're here. We're in the BMP mouth. Yeah, there's really no standard as to how mouth charts are organized. It's more about the studio and how they do it. That's kind of the thing. So the bigger the studio, the chances are the more they're going to have a really specific way to deal and organize with mouth charts. The smaller the studio, probably not a lot of extra work. And it also depends on the build supervisor, if they like to do that or not. I am not a build supervisor that likes to sit there and name the mouth charts, because I think that it's just a lot easier to remember mouth 1, mouth 2, mouth 3. You know the order that they're in, and as long as they kind of flow in a way that the mouth shape works, people just kind of remember what that is. And if you have to go in and add more things later, once you've started to name stuff, you have to continue to name things. Otherwise, the naming process gets incredibly messed up very quickly and very messy. So production is all about time. That's how I choose to spend it. Getting things on multiple layers with the overlays and the tongues and teeth, etc. I feel like I have seen mouths so many ways. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. There's so many ways to build mouths. Mouths, eyes, there's everything. Everybody's got a different method. I would say that this is pretty standard. Amber's gonna know exactly what's going on by looking at this network, because this is kind of an atomic workflow, to be honest. It's not a trade secret. It's not proprietary information. All right, so now we're going to go through these teeth one by one, and we're going to just start to curve and get these shapes. So again, I'm going to try to favor the teeth being rooted in the same place. I'm just working on the what would you call this? What would you call this? I'm just working on the top jaw right now. Trying to kind of keep the roots, let the teeth move, but the roots, try to keep them kind of in a stable position. So somewhere in the middle. This one's making a wild dip. And we're just going to go tooth by tooth. Keep these as straight as possible. This one. Notice how I'm trying to keep... this one's going to move a little bit, but what am I trying to keep? I'm trying to keep the pattern of rotating the tooth and then deforming the tooth if it needs it. So I've rotated it, and then I Alright, so let's try to get this. Okay. What have we got here? Alright, so we're going to have a hard time getting, see how long these teeth are? See. Let's see what the other ones are. They're kind of long. Okay, well, let me just bring back the design for a quick second. Activate. Where is this? Okay, so I'm doing this one, which is not the long teeth. Let's see, how do I fix this? These teeth are kind of a bit too long. Let's see if this looks any better. I'm trying to find that middle ground of like tooth line and jaw connection. Okay, let's bring this down. Amber, it's so funny that you joined today because I was thinking of you. I don't know why. It sounds weird. But I was thinking of you like last week, wondering how you were doing. I think probably because I ran into Sabrina. And just thinking about how everybody else was doing. Are you out of work right now? Is there a show at Atomic? I know that it's kind of slowing down. Okay, we got lots of stuff going on here. I'm noticing you're rotating while you're keying. Why do I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I do that? So wait, so I'm rotating my keyframes and then I'm using my deformers. Honestly, it just depends. If you never use your keys and you only use your deformers, that works too. I'm usually rotating my key so that I get the right rotation, and then I use the deformers to get the shape. I don't think either one is wrong. What is the matter? You can smell everything, eh? Okay. Go. Okay. Ugh. All right, so And Brett, this is final design also. This is it. Yeah, yeah, Sabrina, like look, like super small world. Yeah, so you must have missed the first part. I must have run into. I've never met Sabrina, but we worked together, and she's worked with Amber, and she saw me last week, like the 2 weeks ago at the Taffy Festival, and I was just running around giving portfolio reviews all day and talking to people that were standing in line and kind of helping them prep their portfolio, so when they got to the person when it mattered a little bit more, they had some questions prepared, and kind of, you only have 10 minutes and it goes by so fast. So she must have seen me across the room and sent me a message after the fact. I was still in Toronto, but I wasn't able to meet up with her at that point. So pretty crazy. We almost met. But I didn't even see her at all. Oh, Maybel, what is your energy? You've got a lot of it right now. Okay, let's see. All right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any gaps in the jaw. But also... This is going to be a tough one. Okay, so now the teeth are coming down quite a bit. So the only thing that worries me about this is now the teeth are very disconnected from the peg. But hopefully it will be okay. Alright, so now we got this. And we got this. Deformed straight shapes can be a little funky when we're getting smaller, so I do have to be really careful that I'm not deforming them to a point where, oh, where did my tooth just go? What just happened here? Okay, we're good. I want to make sure I'm not deforming to a point where I can't like crunch the teeth too much. That's the only thing that I'm a bit concerned about right now, but they seem to be okay. There's no... Alright, so this one I want to make sure it's connected, so it'll be a bit bigger. This doesn't seem to be crunching, which is super good. Alright. Let's see. Now, I don't like the connections here, but it's looking better. I'll just bring them up a little bit more. Just trying to hide the connections of the corner pieces kind of within each other. This is a bit of a tedious task, but when you get into high detail stuff like that, it kind of happens. Kind of happens naturally. And I can also... that's not going to work. You know what? I brought the... let's see, where is my overlay and underlay? Overlay. I brought these to the inside of my tooth, but I have a feeling I'm going to wish that I had brought them to the outside of the tooth. So let's just So I'm holding shift to bring that like half moon shape back. And let's do this. Let's just do a quick test. Oh yeah, that looks better. All right. So instead of in this one bringing the ends to the inside, we're actually bringing the inside to the outside. So let's yeah, that's already connecting so much better. All right, so let's do that for a couple of these teeth. Just a quick, try not to affect, what did I say, from the inside to the outside. There we go. Okay, so delete the outside, bring the inside to the outside. Let's see if I can bring in a okay, and also you don't want to you don't want to go out of order. Bring out the tip and then make the adjustments. All right, so that looks better. That's gonna give us cleaner. That's gonna give us a lot cleaner connections at the top of the teeth. So I'll make those adjustments. 1/2 of meat. LOL. Just me. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how she spotted me. I guess she'd know what I look like. Alright, let's change this one from the outside to the inside, and we're going to change this to the, nope, I'll make this first. One of the things that you can do too, which I did mess this up, did I say from the outside to the inside? No, I forget if I was going from the inside to the outside. From the inside to the outside. There we go. One thing that I didn't forget to do, I just did it wrong. But had I grouped the tooth, I could have made this change once, treated it exactly like an eyeball, and just gone into, I think it's, which one is it? Of course I don't have the right, it's not the right window. If I grabbed that tooth that I made and just went to edit, no, which one is it? View, no, nodes, this one. Clone selected nodes, drawings only. All I would have had to do was change one tooth and they would all change instantaneously. So I didn't do that. I have them all individually, but had I thought about it, I could have done that, and this problem would be solved so much faster. But we live and learn. All right, so this one has come to the outside. Is this what I'm wanting? Oh, I'm frozen. Inside to outside. Thanks for keeping me on track. You're hired. Am I gonna do a master controller for the head? I was thinking about this. It's really hard to set up. And the master controller for this would be Really difficult, and depends on how you do it. It's not impossible. I'm trying to figure out in my head like how I would do this. Like obviously the slider would be really cool because then you can just put all of the mouths in here, and they're in a line that is pretty animatable. And so if you wanted to put a master controller on the mouths to act more like blend shapes, like 3D, we would need a lot more designs. And I don't think that this is going to be the best rig to do that on, especially for me, because I've done one of these in so long. This would be that would be very complex. It would take me, especially working 2 hours at a time, would take the rest of the year. So I don't know if I'm ready to do a full master controller, like where is the master controller toolbar? Master controller. Here it is. A stack. That's the stack one. This one right here. So that would be when you have the character in multiple different emotions, and then you have all of the mouth charts to match those emotions. So you would need the different emotions, so like happy, neutral, sad, and extreme, so you can have up to 4, and then you'd have all of the mouth shapes for each one of those letters in that emotion. And then we'd be programming this. So we've got about 20 mouth shapes in this design. That would be about 100 mouth shapes. So you can see how master controllers, the work starts to compound very quickly. I don't know if I'm ready to commit that much right now for this guy, but I mean, maybe if it comes back in the future. I also don't want to make it too complicated that people can't use it. But that's a thought. That's a thought. That could be definitely a really good challenge for Brett to do on his own, because that would be fantastic practice. I think I need to change my design a little bit more frequently so I don't go crazy. But Brett, like, that's a good one for you if you wanted to keep going. Like, you have your base. Now it would just be creating the new designs and then animating the new designs, which is what you want to practice anyway. So I think that's a good option for you, and you can always release that. Everybody's asking for this master controller, so that's the thing about master controllers. They're a real time commitment, and I know that very intimately. Sorry, evil laugh. Mabel's gone. She's like, I'm done. But yeah, no, it's not impossible. I've got outside going to inside, and I gotta bring these from the inside going to the outside. You were using master controllers for a little while there, Amber. That's all I'm gonna say about it. There's no question. There's no follow-up question there. Okay, I don't. Oh, Maybel, you're fine. All right. All right, so that looks pretty good. We're getting closer. I think these are almost done. Let's see. I don't like how these ones have been chopped. What the heck? Going inside to the outside. Alright, I think that's done. Hide this. Okay, we're getting closer. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we've got our teeth, and they look better. That looks better. That looks a lot better. We'll come back to this one. That's the default layer. Okay, now we got these teeth. And I'm just focusing on, you know what, when I'm working like this, I would rather, it's really easy to jump back and forth between your poses, and your pieces. So right now I'm just focusing on the top jaw, and maybe today I'm only focusing on the top jaw, and I will come back and next week focus on the bottom jaw. Because I definitely want to, let's see, get these to match up. Alright, so this is looking good. And we don't have to make too many adjustments. Let's move this tooth back a little, but let's go back and forth to see where this tooth is going. Yeah, I think you did a really good job, Brett, of putting your teeth kind of back to kind of like you. I can see that you did make some adjustments and that some teeth are pushed in. So here's a great example where you've done that. So that's awesome. And then we jump back and forth. You can kind of see, so they're not jumping around as much. So this is going to read a lot better. And you still got all the flexibility that you're looking for. I think, I hope. Anyway, you can tell me. And again, what's he gonna say? Is Skelly a girl? Sorry, ADHD. So many questions. Does Skelly have a gender? Yeah, what is Skelly gonna say? I almost wish that I had one more deformer point. This is why rigging and animation go hand in hand, and you make a good rigger, you're a good animator, or you animate to be a good rigger. I wish I had one more deformer point on that jaw. Okay, bring this down. Okay. I'm going to bring the mouth a little bit more in front so I can see how these teeth line up. Y'all must have the patience of a saint to sit and watch somebody do this in real time. All right, so this mouth is a bit complicated because we have that upper lip, which we don't have in the rig. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to add that detail. Let's bring this tooth up. trying to hide. If you can see that I'm cutting into those lines, this is what I'm trying to hide. It's difficult with the small pieces. Not impossible, just difficult. Okay. Better than TV. This is way more interesting than you might think. I'm really glad to hear that. Like a pop-up lip. Yeah, it needs a pop-up lip. Like an overlay, like a separate drawing piece. That's what I was thinking. I haven't gone in and right now I'm just working, like the teeth were so complicated. I was like, let's focus on the teeth and we'll add the pieces as we go. I do have to run in. No worries. You could abandon them at school. Just kidding. Kinda. I've heard stories. Bye, Amber. Thanks for popping in. Let's catch up soon. All right, so we got that. We got this. We got this. Okay. I'm feeling good about these teeth. Let's move on. Let's bring these forward. Okay. All right. Brett, how are you feeling about your rig here? You're kind of starting to really see it come to life. I can zoom out and give you a little bit more of a snapshot, but I want to do this mouth first now that I've started it. But how are you feeling now that you can kind of see them all coming together? You must have worked pretty hard on the mouths for the last 2 weeks to get them to look like this. Let's bring this back here. Oh, where's this tooth going? Okay, here's a fun thing. Check out this. Check out this point. And this happens often with designs. This is what a build artist has to make decisions sometimes. You've got a tooth that's in an awkward shape. And it's just like, you've got a point here and a point here, and then it curves up. So it kind of looks like your tooth is actually going over here. So these are sometimes the decisions build artists have to ask, or not ask, but they'll just kind of, flag it with somebody. And what we do is we split the difference. So we basically just, and this is super common, like almost, I won't say every design, there's something that happens like this, but it's just something that we've grown to accustomed to, kind of taking the onus to like fix it ourselves. And what we do is we just try to split the difference. So we always try to, follow the designs to the T, obviously, but every once in a while you get something like this, and you kind of have to like decide what it's gonna do. And so I'm just gonna split that difference and make that tooth. I think I'm gonna bring this tooth up further. I'm gonna do that. so that it looks like, now it looks gnarly and there's some overlap, which is pretty. I think that would be what I would call true to the design. Alright, and then this tooth has a line. I'm going to split this difference too because we can't get it exact. Alright. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with how the top jaw bone is deforming for all these teeth. I think that's pretty cool. I'm just going to bring this back over here. Get this tooth. Get these two teeth to kind of line up so that it hides this thing. Okay. This is what I would call a tangent when the design is overlapping this tooth right here. So I gotta figure out what this cheekbone is doing. Because I don't really want to move the cheekbone. But we'll come back. We'll take a look at that. Alright, let's see. Let's zoom out and take a look. I wanted to make sure it was finalized today. Yes, it was a good amount of time spent on the chart. How many hours do you think that you spent on the chart? Can I ask? I can see it coming more to life on your screen. Unfortunately, I'm behind on mine. That's okay. I mean, this is what the recordings are for. You can always ask it a separate question, you know, just send me a photo. That's what I need. I'm a very visual person, so a lot of times, and everybody uses different words. So the visuals always help. That's why I always ask for a picture or a screenshot. Not a problem. That's part of the reason why I've fallen behind. Yeah, you were more concerned about the design than you were the mouth chart, which is probably telling me where your heart is. You want to be in designs more than rigging. But it's good. It's still a good practice. Either way. Yeah, and that's great. And then we're gonna call it, so we won't make any more changes so that we can keep going and finishing it, because it's still probably gonna take a couple weeks. Let's see. Let's just give it a quick activate. So the bottom teeth I have to change still, and I'll have to figure out what's happening with these top teeth, but because this is looking weird. Oh, Maybel just farted. Oh, it smells like a helium balloon. Oh, and a rotten egg. If a helium balloon and a rotten egg had a baby. Alright, top teeth. We got this one. We got this one. Ooh, I didn't move these ones, I guess. Yes, I did move these ones. I started to move these ones. I didn't finish moving these ones. Okay. Did I just do this one? Oh my gosh. The farts are so real. Alright, so you can see here that the teeth are moving up into the jaw on frame 12 and 13. This is where we're getting into the problem with the cheekbone that I was mentioning. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I might lower them. I might make smidgen because they're really getting crunched up there. And I want to make sure that this is a readable mouth. So let's see what we can do. Let's see. I just want to keep an eye on that. So I know that some of them you want that effect. Which mouths would that be? That would probably be the E. Which ones would be? Crunches would be the F. Would that be an F? The crunchy E. Which one would be crunchy? See, I would say the mms would be the ones crunching. K. K. N. I don't know if these would be accurate. I don't know if these are all accurate. N sounds more like a T. N. It's more teeth. But it's okay. Hisses. Yeah, F. I might bring the teeth. I might lower the teeth a little bit on these two designs. They're just coming up way too close to the nose, and it's a little bit harder to read. Same with the same with up here. They read so well when there's a little bit of space in here. All right, let's keep it up. Things are starting to creep up into this face though, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Looks good. I'm probably gonna, the R, and the E are probably gonna be in the same category because these ones, you've got enough space here. Oh, the O can do it. Ooh, okay. Let me hide that bottom jaw again. All right. Okay. So let's see. B. All I want to do is really just go shift down just a smidgen. And oops. Just a smidgen. Shift down, shift down. It's the one thing that's nice about when you are just using keys, you can kind of go back and do the exact same thing that you want to do for all the poses. It doesn't affect too much. Yeah, that's better. And then it's not interfering with that jawbone. All right, so let's keep going. Oops. Ooh, undo. What did I hit? Control forward. No, my gosh. Well, I'm just getting all my shortcuts mixed up. There we go. Alt. Okay, tooth. Although Brett says, although at the same time, I know there's a lot more that can add to it. Yeah, you also want to make sure, like, because at some point things got to be done. So that's the thing. That's what I always think of. I'm always aiming for like a low A. Because a low A, I'm like, that's an A. I can let it go. It's good. And I'll see what comes back. Because if you're aiming for that high A, you're gonna not stop working on something. And a done project is better. A high quality done project is better than a high quality not done project, if you know what I mean. So yes, I can see that you can add more to it, but I think there's enough here that you can chill. And you've done really well. You've had a couple iterations of revisions within the time that we've done it, and you've made good changes. And again, this is the first time you've pulled off something like this, so I think that it's pretty good work. Now you kind of gotta keep making new characters, really, like new characters, if you want to go into the design route, like all you have to do is create more characters, and more mouth comps that are in the same world or realm, and then you've got your own little cartoon that you can kind of work on, or if people like your work, then you work together, and that's how those things happen. But you just got to keep going, let it go and let it grow. Like that is a huge element to what we're doing here, and what I'm doing anyway. Oh, here we go. Here's a broken tooth, maybe. No, it actually worked. Wow, I can't believe that didn't crunch. Last tooth. Where is this tooth? No, this is what I'm always looking for, is what's good enough. That is probably the secret to my success. What's good enough? Doo, doo, doo. Mm-hmm. That looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, where did I go? Where'd the tooth go? Where did it go? Is it this one that I was just looking at? Okay, these are the ones I brought it down a little. Make sure the teeth are connected at the front. let's see, how can I fix these teeth? Okay, it looks like I started doing this and didn't finish this one. Mm-hmm. Fast Birdie, if you're still here, I don't see any of my chart actually is out there. The Twitch preview seems to have changed. But if you're still here, how was your break? How was your the last couple of weeks? Because hope everything went better for you. Okay. All right. So we got our teeth, our jaws looking good. Looking good. Okay. Let's see what have I got left. This is going to be a tough one. Okay, all right, so we got about halfway through. Where are we? Yeah. Okay. All right, so this one's going to be difficult. We can't get the teeth. We can't really get the tooth curl. It's going to be a tough one. Design elements to hit, but let's try to do some sort of point to kind of mimic the shape if we can. I don't know if I want to make that sharper and this one a little bit. Again, trying to stay away from that nose. how that tooth is so out of place on this one. Let's see. Oh, Maybel. Okay, looks good. Next tooth. I'm gonna flare this one out too, because it looks like this one should be a little wider, because the other ones are wider. So I'm gonna give that one a little bit. I have an edit. There we go. That way the teeth hopefully look like they're flaring out at the camera. Okay. Okay, let's see. This tooth. An extreme change. And so you can also see, like, it's very common for, it's not that we're not paying attention to what we're doing, it's that we're so zoomed into the problem that we're solving. This is why pipelines tend to work together, because when you're working on a project, you can just get so sucked into the task that you're doing that you forget about the bigger picture. And so that's why teamwork is so important, so that everybody's kind of making sure that the final product is not perfect. I hate using that word, but let's bring this tooth forward. But anyway, you can see that I'm so zoned into what I'm doing with the tooth. That's kind of what it looks like. I don't know why I'm rigging with my mouse right now, but I am. Alright, let's change that. That looks good. Okay. Oh, sweet. I'm gonna move. You can see how the tooth is totally off the peg. This is what you want to avoid. So I'm gonna keep the peg where it is and just move the deformer back where it was. Same with this one. Let's bring it back. She being so good. Let's roll her up. Got another. Got the. I forget what this thing's called. I forget what this is called. But her other treat, her snuffle. It's not a snuffle mat. It's her Snoop. Her Snoop. Hey, where this? Want this? You want that? You want to take it? You don't want it? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Go ahead. It's like her little baby. Okay. Alright, now I got some breakage on this tooth, so let's try to minimize that damage. I can barely see it, but I can see it. So I think that if I just make it a little bit. Here we go. So sometimes when your deformers break like that, you just kind of have to like finagle them by like little bits and pieces and little nudges. Alright, so this is gonna be like a more of a smooth transition here. So let's push this back into the jaw and give it the best connection we can. That looks pretty good. Or actually, let's do that. That looks good. Okay. Let's go to the next tooth. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy. I'm gonna copy this main. This is kind of like the basic, the default mouth. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna put these kind of back. Not necessarily. I'm not gonna say they're back to normal, but it kind of reset them a little bit. Let me see what they look like here. Because we're getting to extreme poses, and sometimes when you're going from extreme pose to extreme pose, you kind of want to go back to the default, because it just kind of helps you reset their position overall. It's a little detail, but it kind of helps when you're going from extreme to extreme. Sometimes you lose track. Like, again, the way things are animated is very important, and I'm doing my best to keep track. But that kind of helps reset some of the original coordinates, I guess. So as the more you get into the animating and the deforming and the extreme poses, like the kind of further away you get from that original default pose. So sometimes I bring it back and then kind of work my way back out again. So that's what I just did. That's why I copied that first pose, and then we'll just start doing this again. The way. It's moments like this that you also think about how much longer it takes to animate envelope deformers. For real. Yes, yeah, we're not usually reshaping the teeth. The teeth are usually, um, like for cutout animation, we have to work for speed. When you're working in television, we just there's just no like something like this is probably more feature quality, but you'd still have a lot. You'd probably put a lot more time into creating something like this with this detail. And a feature would be like a feature film. Usually, like Disney animators have a year to work on a couple of minutes of animation, so it's pretty incredible to see the difference between feature film animation and television animation. So in television animation, it's we put out an episode a week, almost, or every other week. Sometimes we put out 2 episodes a week, depending on where you are in the process and like what kind of animation it is, what kind of show it is. So you're always thinking about this stuff on how fast you can do things. Give that a little spin. So this is a very like specific rig that if we were building something like this in, I'm trying to think, I've definitely built skeletons. I've definitely built things with like more complicated mouths. But when you're on the timeline that you're on, it's difficult for sure. I used to never want to build braces. That's for sure. Just like that extra detail, like just a rectangle in each tooth. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. Mouths have always been a lot of work, but it's also a good challenge, and I'm not really tied to a schedule of a show right now, so I'm not worried about the deadline, which is nice. Which is why I'm kind of doing it. It's kind of nice to just be back rigging, but not having the pressure of the deadline is actually really refreshing. And working on rigs like this too, it's like why I like the job, because I like the creative characters. I was always one asking for the monsters and like the weird creatures where I would have to think about how the network would be broken down. I really like that stuff, so this is a nice way to kind of get back to that whatever energy that is and whatever learning puzzle piece to myself that is. It's my mindful moment for the day. M. I don't know the last time I hit save, so let me do that right now. What time is it? Oh, okay, we're almost done. All right, well, we're almost done. So let's finish these 2 mouths, and then next week we will finish the bottom jaw, probably, and then we'll have another week to kind of go in and probably add whatever pieces are missing in the jaw, like the tongue. I haven't built that yet. But I would say that this is pretty getting close to being done. And you get to animate it. We'll see what kind of master controllers we can add. I think it'll just tween nicely. I think sometimes I wonder if master controllers are necessary, because like if you animate it well enough and it tweens well enough and you're paying attention to your tweens, then I don't know if you always need to have a master controller, but I do understand how cool they are for production. I don't know though. there's definitely a place for them. I am definitely not hating on master controllers. Maybe just the work involved to get them there, but not them themselves. Alright, how do I get this to connect? Alright, this is going to be a tricky one. Not loving. Still not in love with the way that the jaw's connecting to the teeth, but it's gonna be a tough one to. Okay. All right, last tooth. I think that's the last tooth. Oh no, there's one more. Okay, let me do as much as I can. I'm starting the barbecue. Okay. If this character was suggested for a TV cartoon, would a studio not want? That's a good question. Would a studio not want to attempt it because of the intricacy of the mouth? Well, it depends on the studio, depends on the network, depends on the budget, depends on the project. But yes, that question would be asked, and yes, that idea would be tossed around. Somebody would say that. Somebody would say that out loud. I have heard shows get shot down because the person who was, I've seen a lot of pitches, and the people that you're pitching to are so specific. They want you to know exactly what is going to be done. They want to know that you know what it's going to cost. Not necessarily like cost, but like they want to make sure that you know like they want to make sure that your budgets kind of reflect like what your designs are. You don't need to actually know what it costs, but there's an element there that's definitely very specific. But I've seen shows get shot down because, and like really good pitches, really good pitches. Sometimes I think they're just shooting things down for just to narrow things down the easy way. But I've seen pitches get shot down because the person who was presenting the idea also said like the target audience for this show was like 2 or 3 years off from what they saw the target audience. So like people just get shot down for so many reasons. That's why I'm like, if you want to see what you're doing, just do it and put it on YouTube. That's the, to me, that's the easy cheat. But if you're pitching to a show, pitching a show to a network, there's a lot of stuff that comes into play, and you have to have a very specific pitch deck, which there's definitely things online that you can look up to create if that's what you want. But man, the chances of you getting a show created are not impossible, but very difficult. And you can always submit your pitches. I don't know when the Pitch This competition at OAF is, but that's something, those are the pitches that I've seen a lot of. And if you win one of those pitches, you get a grant to basically help you bring your idea to life and to continue developing your idea. Really, it's kind of what it is at that point. But yeah, definitely something. The technology is always going to be a question. The budgets are always going to be a question. Like, we're not really in the age of we have all the money. To be honest, games make a lot more money than cartoons. So the budgets for cartoons are kind of lower. Lower than they used to be. Lower than they ever were. Which sucks. Which sucks. But the people that make cartoons are still the best. So, still worth it. Okay, this tooth curl. That is a thing. Alright, how do I bring this down? Okay, last one, and then we'll check them out. Oh, the big one. This is the big one. Okay, let's see what we can do. tough. Okay, what do we got? Then we got this one. It's going down. And then this one. Going down. Okay, this is gonna be I know that you're introducing a little hole right here, but I'm not going to be able to respect that. I'm not going to be able to respect that design choice. I think. Yeah, Brett, you should look into like getting into Canadian grants and creating your own film independently or something and making money through crowdfunding or um, just grants from Canada. You definitely have access to that stuff, and all you would need is that funding. This tooth is in front of this tooth. This tooth is here. Okay, it's gonna be too hard to really curve those teeth so that you can see like the gap. That's gonna be really extreme, so I'm gonna have to just tuck them in behind, get that shape. Alright, I think that's it. I think that's pretty good. Alright, wait, what's missing here? This is something missing here. Although, I don't think I want to... I don't know if I want to... I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to let that stay. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, M. Alright. I've mentioned to you that I also have ideas for video games, though, too. Yeah, I unfortunately can't help you too much with the video games, but I imagine a lot of 2D video games pieces that can be made into, but yeah, you can definitely, you can make sprite sheets and you can make simple rigs. The rigging is actually a lot easier for games because there's a lot of limitations. So you just build very simple rigs, almost Flash-like, but not quite. But you still have some use of deformers. Let's deactivate this. Yay. Alright. Skelly. Let's activate everything inside the rig. The bottom jaw is not going to make any sense. But I think that the top jaw is looking good. Let's go in and figure out what tooth I cleaned. Alright. And now it's more about like this, when I go through the mouths like this, I like to kind of go through one by one and like at this point turn the drawing off turn the design off, and then you do what's best for the rig. At some point, you gotta let go of the design and do what's best for the rig. So for the top jaw, I still don't like, it looks like I just have really long tapers in the teeth. Let's see. And I feel like, what is this? Let me see. It's a 6. Just want to make these way shorter. And, okay, so all I'm doing right now is making the lines a little bit, oh, this one's backwards, making the tapers a little, instead of having like longer tapers, I'm just making them shorter and stubbier to kind of fix all these. What did I say we were doing? This one's got 2. We were doing inside to outside, so this is deleted. A lot of times it's just going inch by inch, and let's see what's going to be the best there. Oh yeah, look how long these tapers are. Okay, let's make these a little stubbier. We'll just do a little bit of a spot check, and I'll have to make the same adjustments to the bottom teeth, but we'll just kind of go tooth by tooth right now. Already looks better. Okay, I feel better about this. All right, that looks good. We've done that one already. And these ones will look better too. Shorter. What did we say? Six. I'm not gonna change. I don't think I'm changing that top one because it's the outside. It's literally the edge. So I want this one to. I think I want this one to favor. Or do I want it to favor the outside? Did I do my teeth backwards? I may have done my teeth backwards. Let's change this one. Trying to hide that connection. Okay, that's looking like it's gonna go there. Alright, looking better. Looking good. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up and then call it a day. And the next week what we'll do is we're gonna work on the bottom jaw. Trying not to. There we go. I can also shorten these handles and that'll kind of help with the elongation of the. That actually is working much better. Yeah, so the next week we'll work on the bottom jaw and hopefully we'll get that done in 1 week. And then we're going to be left with a little bit of work because there's a couple details that I want to add. I also want to show you the fast way that you could rig this mouth. And this is something that I add to rigs. When there's experienced animators on the team, sometimes people don't want to work with cutout animation when they get like an image like this. Like you're designing more for high quality animation feature film, as I was mentioning. It's a lot more detail, a lot more traditional style, and like I said, that's like it's a little bit harder for people to animate that way, but it doesn't mean that those people are not out there. So every team usually has a couple people that can animate that and that can redraw that well. And it's always a very cool experience when you get to see people like that work. But to help them out, I always add a little bypass in my rigs because sometimes they can just redraw something in 30 seconds versus posing it for 30 minutes. So I always want to try to give people like that an easy way to use the rigs too. So I'm going to show you what that looks like when we get to the end as well, as long as I don't forget. So let's leave myself a note what we're going to do next week, and I'll even add the part where I'm reminding myself about the easy redraw bypass. I didn't mean to do that all capitalized, but add that at the end. Okay, bottom jaw, B-O-T-T, bottom jaw, check line connections, flip from inside, flip from inside outside, or vice versa. I can't remember what it is. Versa. What else? Jaw details. Extra jaw details. Extra jaw details. Maybel's farting again. Oh my gosh, she stinks. Bottom jaw. Extra jaw details, easy redraw bypass, Flip from inside, check line connections. Is there anything else I'm missing in this? We're getting close. I'll put master controller with a question mark. Slider. I don't know if we're gonna be able to put an actual master controller. I'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll have it's a whole like mental arrangement. In the same way that I did the beginning of this episode, lining up the new mouth chart. You kind of have to think about it like that. So I'm gonna have to like grid. Have to think about it, but I'll start thinking about it and see if I can come up with something. But yeah, that's it. That's oh, thanks Brett. I appreciate hearing that from you. You've got some high standards here. Not in a bad way. But yeah, you're pushing a lot of creative limits, and like I like that. I like a challenge. So this was one. This is definitely the hardest mouth comp that I've ever made. But I think that it's gonna be good. All right, so stay tuned, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye. Have a good one.